So my 45th birthday is coming up in a few months, and it seems like a good time to check in and see how much progress we've made in the last 5 years since I had my financial wake-up call around age 40. I have this goal of only working part-time once our house is paid off in 2031, and I wanted to see how realistic that was looking. I'm Susie, I'm American, and I've lived in France for over 15 years now. I want to work just part-time and not have to run around as much as I do right now. At the moment, I feel like I don't really have the choice that I have to work as much as I do because right now, our combined income from our jobs is approximately equal to how much we spend every month. I don't even know if semi-retirement is the right term, but I like it. I feel like it gives me a goal and it keeps me motivated. So we've been making so many efforts for so long, and I wanted to see if that had actually had any impact on the numbers. And I also wanted to see if I could run the numbers to predict whether or not this dream of working part-time seems like it could be feasible in the future. Out of curiosity and for this video, I cobbled together some key indicators to try to evaluate where we were 5 years ago compared to where we are today, and to try to predict where we will be 7 years from now if nothing changes radically. Of course, our income could go up, we could buy another rental property, we could win the lottery, who knows? But for the calculations today, I'm going to assume that everything is basically stable going forward. Our problem, or our challenge in a sense, is that our income from our jobs is basically equal to the amount of money that we spend every month. And I'm sure that this is the case for so many people out there. It was like that 5 years ago, and it's still the case today. Aside from buying our house in 2013 and making our monthly mortgage payments to pay down the principal, we hadn't really been doing any significant investing up until 2019. We had the insight to set up some automatic transfers into some savings accounts, and we had been basically doing that forever. So we had accumulated some capital at that point, but it was in accounts that had a lot of fees, that were performing suboptimally, and we weren't making that much of an effort to invest. So the results were very mediocre. We had saved up some money, but it definitely wasn't optimized, and we were paying a lot of fees. Plus, our elective fund spending was pretty much out of control. There were times in our 30s when we were really living beyond our means. I think there were months where we would have to dip into our savings just to cover our basic living expenses. Honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to our finances for that entire decade of my life. I was working, we bought and renovated our house, I had 2 kids, I did a master's degree. It was a very full time in our life, but I just wasn't aware of our finances. Meanwhile, my poor husband did a decent job managing our family finances without any help or interest from me. I never looked at the bank accounts. I had no idea when or if or how much I was getting paid. I was just totally disconnected and unaware. Worse, I was in the mindset of, oh, I work so hard, poor me, I deserve this trip, night out, restaurant, whatever. All right, that's enough background. Let's take a look at the numbers. That automatic savings that we were doing in our 30s, it did pay off in the end because we were able to purchase 4 additional rental properties over the years 2020, 2021, and 2022. And now we have a total of 6 rental units. And over the course of those purchases, we did have to put down 34,000 euros, which was a big chunk of our savings. And in addition to the money that you see here in the accounts that are listed on this table, we also have our emergency fund. I have a retirement account in the US. We have other accounts as well that are not here because I like to sort of forget that they exist, and then when I put them all together, I have this sense of satisfaction, sort of relief. But what you see here on the table is basically what I focus my energy on, or what I have been focusing my energy on for the past 5 years. For simplicity's sake, I rounded our income to 4,000 euros a month, and I rounded our budget, our monthly spending, to 4,000 euros a month as well. We're pretty much average. The median salary in France is 1,940 euros a month, and the average salary is 2,340 euros a month. And that's basically us. I'd be happy to do another video explaining our monthly budget and what we spend our money on if that's something that you're interested in. Just let me know in the comments below. Our mortgage is about 1,100 euros a month. That's not including insurance or taxes. And in 2020, we took out a 10-year loan to do some work converting our garage into a short-term rental. And my husband and I have been running that for almost 3 years now. And that has been an amazing boon for our family's finances. I have lots of other videos videos on my channel about our short-term rental. If you're interested, you can check those out. So here we are, turning 45 in 2024. Thanks to the cash surplus from the short-term rental, we've been able to put a lot of that away in a PER, Plan Épargne Retraite, which is like a tax-advantaged retirement account for my husband, and into a PEA, which is a Plan d'Épargne en Action. So it's like a tax-advantaged stock investing account for me. And the rest of the surplus cash has gone, of course, to maintain our emergency fund, yes, always very important, and also to other expenses that we've had with our rental properties. We've had to redo a bathroom, we've had to replace a furnace, so we have had a lot of expensive repairs in our rental properties, but that's okay because the work that we do on our rental properties is tax deductible, and it improves the value of the properties, and of course it makes the properties better for the renters as well. In the past 5 years, we've gone on fewer trips. We've tried to get our discretionary spending under control. I buy mainly secondhand now when I can, and I've learned to cook. So we're buying less processed food and eating more home-cooked meals that I often cook in big batches, which has definitely saved us money and I think has had a positive impact on our health as well. I thought that it was important to consider diet and exercise as part of this checkup as well, because of course what we eat and how much exercise we get will have such a big impact on our lives going forward too, just like our finances. And I think that we have made progress in terms of how well we eat, but we could definitely exercise more, that's for sure. I sort of tell myself this is something that I don't have time to do, but in the future, hopefully I'll have more time to exercise. But in fact, this is something that I really need to get better about doing now. I definitely need to make the time to get more exercise these days. Okay, so now let's skip ahead to the mythical year of 2031 when our house is paid off and our Airbnb short-term rental loan is paid off. If we have continued to invest 500 euros a month into my husband's PER, and if that investment just gets a modest return of 5% year over year, we'll have 89,000 euros in that account. Granted, we can't touch that until we get to our traditional retirement age, but that's okay. It will have grown significantly over that time, just 7 years. And for me, if I continue to invest 500 euros a month in my PEA, again, with a modest return of 5% over that time frame, I'll have 113,000 euros, which is impressive. But here's the really exciting part. Once our house is paid off, then our monthly spending goes down by 1,000 euros, and therefore my income can drop by 1,000 euros, and we'll still be making enough money from our jobs, assuming that my husband continues to work and get paid at least 2,000 euros a month. We'll have enough to cover our basic expenses. In the end, it looks like what's really going to have the biggest impact on whether or not I'll be able to work part-time is just the fact that our house will eventually be paid off, which we would have done anyway. So was it worth it to put all this time and energy and effort into investing and saving? Well, I think so, yes. In large part thanks to our short-term rental, because otherwise without it, our income would have equaled our expenses over this period. But thanks to our short-term rental, the complementary income that we've had from our short-term rental, we've been able to save and invest a significant amount of money over the course of this period of time. And going back to our long-term rental properties, they're not cash flowing properties, but month over month, the principal on the mortgages is being paid down. So even just over the period from June of this year to June of 2031, over 100,000 euros of principal will be paid down. And this is not even taking into account appreciation or the principal that we have already paid down at this point. 200,000 euros in investment accounts, 100,000 euros in principal paid down over that period of time. This is 300,000 euros that we'll have to use for our future plans at that stage. Plus, our house will be paid off and we'll have our income generating short-term rental right on our property. And I think the best news of all is that by then I'll probably be able to cut down to working just part-time. Given our modest means and our very average salaries, I'm pleased with the progress that we've been able to make, and I'm also pleasantly surprised by the progress that I'm predicting we'll be able to make into the future. So what do you think? Do you have some suggestions? Do you see some places where we could better optimize to make our progress go even faster? Does working part-time appeal to you as well? I'm guessing if you've watched this video up until this point that maybe it does. The dream. Anyway, I hope this video was useful in some way for you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, à bientôt!